Ascension is essentially enlightenment. And we're talking about enlightenment or ascension. We're talking about moving beyond the illusion of this world. It's not always an easy feat because everything seems so real and so important in our lives, especially when it comes to relationships, jobs, money, all the things that make the earth, or human a human. We're looking to ascend beyond the human self. And this means that you can be in a body and still be part of the spiritual realm. The way to do this is actually through connection. And this connection is in a higher space of all that is. So when we're talking about connection, we're talking about connecting with our soul self and all that we are. That is bringing that part of us into the world that we perceive in this moment. Every moment, we're creating our next moment. And in Ascension, we're actually working in a higher realm. And this is because in the higher vibrational frequency, we can move beyond the Maya and create on such a spiritual or energetic level. Things can appear around us, by location, any of those things. These masters who have done this for thousands of years, we've revered them, but we also question whether they're being authentic or whether it's real, whether you can really see with the third eye. And this is because as humans, we're told that these things cannot happen. And why is this important for us to know? Because it is possible for those things to happen. We want to recognize that the world is not what we perceive it to be. In an energetic level, the world is really a movement of energy systems. And we're here to recognize what those energy systems are. In this world, there's something called duality. And duality means that there's an up and a down and a right and a wrong, and a forward and backwards, anger and love, those types of things. When we're talking about ascension, we're speaking about moving beyond the duality and seeing that it doesn't really matter. People take so much pride in believing that their beliefs about different things are more important than anyone else's. So what they believe about a religious affiliation, what they believe about a political affiliation, what they believe about the person down the street or the person who is homeless. They're attached to these beliefs. They're attached to the connection of affiliation. And the reason they're attached is because they're still living in the world of the Maya or the illusion. We don't have to constantly live there. Spirit has told us that it is possible to be anything and do anything, even on this earth plane, even though it may not seem like that. Everything holds a frequency. So you have lower consciousness frequencies. And what are those lower consciousness frequencies? They're shame, discontent, anger, righteousness. They are all lower vibrational frequencies. Love is a higher vibrational frequency, but only if you're in the love of gratitude, oneness, and connection and compassion. The oneness connection is very different, and the oneness love is very, very different than love of your car, for instance, or that you love that crystal. These things are human love, and it's a very different vibrational frequency. You can connect through those loves to the higher frequency of oneness love, or divine love is what I like to call it, divine love. But it's not the same frequency. They're different. Ascension is about moving beyond the Maya or the illusion or the perspective that we understand this world. Because we only understand this world through the perspective of other humans. And it's not until we reach a higher consciousness do we understand that this connection can be is really detrimental to our ascension or our enlightenment. And they want us all to recognize that there's a reason that there's more of a spiritual explosion going on, a more spiritual acceptance and desire to see beyond the Maya or the illusion. That's because we are moving into a higher frequency. And some may have trouble being in the higher frequency. And the higher frequency is going to be there whether we choose to accept it or not. Manifestations and creation are happening faster and faster. This is happening specifically because we recognize that the world is oneness, and that oneness isn't just on the physical plane, but on all levels. Spiritual consciousness is very important because your evolutionary openness to consciousness is the key to your own ascension work. Ascension and enlightenment are really about being in a higher vibrational frequency, as I said earlier about love. And we want to explain to you what this really means. It means to be in a higher frequency and connection with all that you are, without the fear or anger or resentment that comes along with being a human. When you resent being a human, you actually block the energies to a higher consciousness in your connection to God. We ask that you see this in a bigger picture way. We recognize that your ability to connect with your higher consciousness has always been there. It is important to work through your own karmic connections and own karma within your life. Many of you come here because you're ready to move past your karma. This karma comes from the patterns within your family and other lifetimes. We recognize that karma is really about moving beyond the illusion of the mental, physical, and emotional planes. These planes of existence are here to help us create on such a dense level. The beauty of creation here on the earth plane is that you can create anything, and the creation is very solid, and you can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it. On the other planes you can create as well, but it doesn't have the same density or frequency. It is to learn to create worlds. When you can start to learn to move beyond the Maya of this world and start to create in other worlds, then you can actually start to create worlds. You could start to create physical matter. You could start to create plants and animals. This is because you are ready to move to a new frequency. We want you to understand that ascension is about being in the heart space. It has nothing to do with intellect or intelligence. It has to do with the connection to the divine frequency, divine love, divine compassion. When you connect more and more to those higher vibrations, you have more of an ability to connect to the ability to bilocate and create and manifest physical objects on the earth plane. We want you to recognize that true love, true expression of love from the divine is your birthright. And you have the ability to ascend in this lifetime. We ask that you take the time to work through your karma and be more centered in a heart space through meditation and connection with divine love. We honor and respect each and every one of you. Much love.